22nd, 2024. I'll call to order a meeting of the Bolton Select Board. Thanks for joining us this evening. We have a fun little item to kick off our agenda this evening. So I would invite Lisa Dion to address the first item on our agenda, which is the Bolton Post cane.
Right. So I'm here to speak about Charles J. Weaver. He is 97 years old and a World War II Navy veteran. Charlie and his lovely wife, Helen, bought their home in Bolton in 1963. He raised 4 children who attended school in the Neshoba district, and Charlie was a faithful volunteer for their sports teams throughout the years. He was an avid senior center participant, and his presence always added to the joy and levity of our programs and events. Charlie has been an amazing member of the Bolton community for over 60 years, and I ask that he be acknowledged as Bolton's eldest resident and current holder of the Boston Post cane.
Thank you so much for that. Any questions or comments from members of the select board?
No, I think it's great. It's great.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What a wonderful contribution to the town.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, thanks again, Lisa, for sharing that information with us. And of course, our best wishes to Mr. Weaver. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to vote in favor of acknowledging Charles J. Weaver as Bolton's eldest resident and current holder of the Boston Post cane.
I will make a motion that we vote to acknowledge Charles J. Weaver as Bolton's eldest resident and current holder of the Boston Post cane.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call. Kate?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Thanks again, Lisa, and again, congratulations to Mr. Weaver and his family.
That's great. Thank you. They'll be thrilled. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, we are going to consider the recommendation of appointment of Michelle Carlisle as the town treasurer. So I'll turn this over to our town administrator, Marie Sobalvarro.
Certainly, thank you. Wanted to provide a brief update. As the board and residents are aware, the former treasurer has resigned and her last effective day is August 31st. We had posted for the position of town treasurer, had received 5 external applicants and 1 internal applicant. The internal applicant, Michelle Carlisle, has been assistant treasurer within the town hall for 8 years, performing daily tasks such as the department turnover, monitoring the bank accounts, and transferring money between accounts as needed. She's also been administering payroll, and you know her as the town collector. Michelle it's beyond stepping up. She has been juggling both roles prior to this appointment with aplomb and incredible dedication, and is likely the reason that you see that light on at night in town hall. I seek the appointment from the board as Michelle Carlisle as the town treasurer effective September 1, 2024.
Great. Thank you for that. Before I take questions from the select board, I didn't know, Michelle, whether there was anything that you wanted to say, or you don't feel like you have to, but.
No, I do appreciate your consideration. I put a lot of thought into this, and I decided that this is something that I would like to do. I've been the tax collector and assistant treasurer, like Marie said, for 8 years, mostly doing collections. I've done a little of the treasurer part, everything that Marie had mentioned. I also handle all the foreclosures and tax takings as part of treasurer responsibility, and then I'll do the auction as the custodian of the tax possession accounts, which we're hoping to do in October. And I thought I would like to learn something new and try something different. So I applied.
Great. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the select board?
The only comment from me is I've been in town hall many a Saturday afternoon, and I've seen and chatted with Michelle, so I can attest to what Maria said. Michelle goes above and beyond. all the time. And I'm very happy to be able to endorse her as the new treasurer.
Thank you, Stan.
And I just had a question for clarification, which is, will Michelle still be fulfilling the role of tax collector as well, or will we be looking to fill that role at some point in the future?
She will likewise be fulfilling the role of tax collector, and there's currently an active recruitment for an assistant treasurer collector.
Great.
Well, for my part, I'll just add, I haven't been involved with the town for as long as Stan, but since I have been involved, I can just speak to what an incredible asset Michelle is, not just in terms of her professionalism, but I think she's just a great spirit and colleague to have as part of the town hall. So I'm excited that we have this opportunity for her to learn something more. But I mean, gosh, I mean, you want more Bolton, we're ready to give it to you.
I know, am I crazy? I don't know, Brian. You may be picking me off the ceiling. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, Brian. That's very kind words. Thank you.
So with that, I guess, Marie, jump in if there's any formal language that we need, or I guess, are there any questions or comments from the public? Not seeing any.
Recommendation for appointment as of September 1st, 2024 to the role of treasurer.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve appointment of Michelle Carlisle as treasurer as of September 1st, 2024.
I'm happy that that the Board of Selectmen should vote to recommend the appointment of Michelle Carlisle as treasurer of the town of Bolton as of the beginning of September of this year.
Second.
Great, roll call. Kate,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too.
Good night.
I am noting Jenny Jacobson hand clapping emoji, so I'm sure the sentiment shared by many. Okay, we're actually doing great on time this evening. We're on to event approvals, and the first is it's a report from the Bolton Historical Society on the Lafayette event on September 2nd, and I see we have Ms. Mary Chumo to speak about that.
Yeah, thank you for having me this evening.
Thank
So the Bolton Historical Society is going to be holding an outdoor event at 101 Wilder Road, known as the Wilder Mansion, to celebrate the 200th anniversary of General Lafayette's overnight stay at the Wilder Mansion. The event is in partnership with the American Friends of Lafayette, who are reenacting Lafayette's farewell tour to 24 states over a 13-month period. And they are sticking to the exact day that Lafayette visited all of these sites. And you can go to Lafayette 200 if you want to know more about their events. So we're working with Joe O'Toole at the Bolton Fruit Company for off-street parking. We're getting one police officer to work traffic detail, and Paul and Dawn Tassini are graciously letting us use the the grounds of their house. So we're going to have costume reenactors, including Lafayette, and we welcome everyone to come on September 2nd, 6 o'clock in the evening, to welcome Lafayette to Bolton.
So I was actually going to ask you to repeat that time because it is Labor Day, so people won't be in school, right? So it's Monday, 6 p.m.
It is Monday, and Lafayette 200 years ago did not plan this being Labor Day. He actually arrived at the Wilder Mansion around 9 o'clock in the evening. And even though the AFL likes to stay close to not only the days but the times, we thought that 9 o'clock at night would be a little bit extreme to hold an event. So yeah, 6 to 7.
Great. Thank you for that update. Any questions from the board?
I'm good.
I think it sounds like a wonderful event.
Yeah. And thank you to the Tassinis for letting us use the property for that. It's great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mary. Really appreciate it. Okay, next we would like to consider a request from Bikes Not Bombs to hold the 37th annual Bikes Not Bombs Ride and Bikeathon on September 8th, 2024, utilizing roadways in Bolton. And I believe Maura Holt-Ling would be speaking to that. Is that person available and present?
Yeah, hi.
Great, hi.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having us. And I'm here. My colleague Haley is also on the line as well. Yeah, so we are coming to you. We both are employees of Bikes Not Bombs in Jamaica Plain in Boston. And we host an event every year. It's our 37th year doing it. It's our sort of biggest annual fundraiser. It's a bike ride. And so we have folks leave. It starts and ends sort of near our complex in Jamaica Plain. And folks can choose from 5 different routes. So there's a 10-mile, 35, 50, 63, and then 105. So because of that, some of our rides go through Bolton. Actually, the 105 goes all the way out to you. So it just goes through the roads. It's sort of a supported ride. There are a couple rest stops involved. And so we'll just have cyclists coming throughout the morning. I would say maybe 30 to 40 usually sign up. Don't get a ton of traffic for the 105 mile. Most folks choose some of our shorter routes, but we do have a couple that really persist and want to do the full 105. So this is the morning of September 8th. They'll be coming through just using the roads. No other particular support is requested, but just sort of letting you all know and requesting permission to use for our bike riders to use the road on the morning of September 8th. And it's a big fundraiser, so they're all raising funds to support our mission and the work that we do with youth and shipping bikes internationally as well. That's great.
Any questions from the select board?
The only thing is would assume that you've talked to the chief and obviously you've done this many years, so I'm sure he's fine with everything.
Yes, I believe so. We submitted the request online.
Yes.
Yes.
I did receive police approval.
Anything from you, Kate?
Nope, no questions.
Well, if somebody wants to ride up Vaughan Hill Road on their bicycle, I am not going to stand in the way and just pray for their safety and well-being. So with that, is there a motion to approve Bikes Not Bombs Bikeathon on September 8th, 2024, utilizing roadways in Bolton?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, great. Roll call. Kate?
yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Thank you. Have a great event and great work by your organization too.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you all so
Greatly
much for
appreciate it.
the consideration and approval. All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
All right. Next, we're going to consider a request to hold Bicycles Battling Cancer Ride on Sunday, September 22nd, also utilizing roadways in Bolton. And I believe Mark Walters is going to speak to that request. I don't know if you're seeing Mark, Jenny.
I don't see him in the queue. There's a couple phone numbers that I don't recognize. If you want to skip ahead, I can send a link to him.
I did see it looked like somebody to speak to the next request is here. So why don't we pause on this and we'll move ahead to consider the request to hold the Ride to Defeat ALS bike ride on Saturday, September 28th, utilizing roadways in Bolton. It was Micah Farraker to speak to that. Great. Oh, sorry. Could you unmute yourself, please?
Thank you for the reminder on that. I appreciate it. And first, I guess I want to give a shout out to the Bikes Not Bombs of 37 years. That we're on our 24th year, but 37 years is pretty great. So congratulations to them. So we've been going through Bolton for many, many years. You guys have been big supporters of our ride. We started our first ride in 2001. I'm the co-chair of the event. This will be our 24th year. We have rides that starts at the Longfellow Tennis and Health Club in Wayland, and we have 3 different rides that all circle and start from there, just as the previous ride talked about. We have a 25-mile ride, a 40-mile ride, and a 60-mile ride. The 60-mile ride is the one that comes through Bolton. Again, that's the longest ride, so we usually get the least number of riders for it. And by the time they get to Bolton, they will be spread out in 1s and 2s, maybe 3s. So it's not going to be a big group that's coming through. And what was the name of that road that you said you're going to, Long Hill View Road?
On Hill.
On Hill.
On Hill.
I think we go on that road also. So, so it's a hilly road. So good job for the riders. So again, this is our 24th year. We've raised about 3.7 million for the people who have ALS, who are a lot less fortunate than us. And Bolton has always been supportive of us. So we put signs up on Friday. It's on September. So it's Saturday, September 28th. We're going to put signs on, the stakes in the ground on Friday. The ride is on Saturday. At the end of Saturday, we'll have taken all those stakes out of the ground. So Bolton will be fine. We hope that we can get your blessing and permit for us to have our ride there.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to know, in the information in our packets, it looks like police approval hasn't yet been received. Is that right, Jenny? I don't know if there were any late-breaking updates today. Oh, sorry, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yes, there have been no late breaking. Wait, is that the right one?
This is for the ride to
This is
defeat.
ALS.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, nope, we have not received police approval yet. Did you reach out to the chief?
I know I talked to a chief of police, and I'm assuming I guess it wasn't the Bolton chief of police. So I guess I have not talked with him yet.
So what we can do, if the rest of the board agrees, is we can certainly approve this event, just contingent upon you reaching out and
Absolutely.
getting the approval.
I can do that next week, no problem.
Which I don't anticipate being a problem. So, would somebody like to move to approve the ride to defeat ALS on September 28th, contingent upon police approval?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, great. Roll call, please. Kate,
yes.
Dan,
Yes.
I'm a yes as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your support.
Thanks, Mike. Good luck with the ride.
Thank you. We can make a difference
Thank
in a lot
you.
of people's lives if we'd use it. So thanks so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
And
Thank
and
you.
Mike,
Yes,
Mike,
Jen.
you'll be sending the insurance certificate after September 1st
Yes,
as well?
absolutely. I think,
Great.
yeah, September 1st is when it comes out. And as soon as I get it, Jenny, I'll get it right to you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you again, by the way.
Thanks, you as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night.
Good night.
Jenny, were you able to get in touch with somebody from Bicycles Battling Cancer Ride? Not yet.
I sent the link and so far nobody has entered the meeting. If you want to jump to the next one, I can try to call.
Sure. Yeah. So, lastly, considering a request from Cultivate Care Farms to hold a ticketed Halloween event at 401 Main Street on October 26th, 2024 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I believe Megan Moran can speak to that request.
Yes. Hi. Yeah, so this is going to be similar to our other events where we have kind of like a total of 30 participants per hour, and it'll be from 11 to 3. So we're going to have, this is Saturday, October 26th. We're encouraging kids to come in their costumes, but it will be time to spend with the animals. We'll have a scavenger hunt. We'll be decorating pumpkins. So just kind of a family-friendly, kid-friendly event for the community.
Great. Any questions from the select board?
I'm fine.
No, I'm fine as well.
Okay, great. So is there a motion to approve the request from Cultivate Care Farms to hold a ticketed Halloween event at 401 Main Street on October 26, 2024 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call. Kate,
yes.
Stan,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well.
Great. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
guys.
much.
Thanks. Good luck with the event.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Um, this is really a question or comment for Jenny and Marie. I know that there's a note that there's police approval for the route requested to hold the Bicycles Battling Cancer ride, but we haven't received the certificate of insurance yet. Given that this ride has happened through Bolton previously, I would be okay with us making a motion to approve the event contingent upon receipt of the certificate of insurance, unless other members of the board have questions about the event.
No, I'm
Mark is in the meeting now.
Oh, great. Okay.
Hi, my apologies for being late for the meeting, but I appreciate you considering our request regarding the certificate of insurance. The way the American Cancer Society renews their insurance every year, September 1. So unfortunately, we won't have the insurance until next month. So, but we definitely have it on the list to get that to you as soon as it's available.
well.
Great. Okay, so unless there are any other questions, is there a motion to approve this request?
Make a motion that we approve the request to hold Bicycles Battling Cancer ride on Sunday, September 22nd, utilizing roadways in Bolton, contingent upon getting the insurance certificate.
Second,
Okay, roll call. Kate,
yes.
Stan,
Yes.
I'm also a yes. And thank you, Mr. Walter.
Well, thank you. We
Thanks.
appreciate
Good luck. Good luck with
Thank
the
you.
event.
Luck.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Now we are going to move on to a public hearing regarding the application of Bolton Bean 626 Main Street for the amendment to the annual Section 12 pouring license for wine and malt to add 1,537 square feet of indoor space and 1,260 square feet outdoor patio. We first need a motion to open the public hearing. And I guess before we do that, though, Jenny, can you confirm that this was posted appropriately in accordance with the regulations?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion. We move into the public hearing.
Second,
A roll call. Kate,
yes.
Ann,
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. Okay,
And
so
I should probably mention the date of the advertisements. It went into the Clinton item on the 9th and the 16th.
great, thank you. Okay, so let's start the public hearing. Mr. Patterson, I see you here. Do you want to just give us an overview of what your plans are here?
Yeah, so we're finally trying to get to opening that new restaurant behind the Bean. And with that, we would like to be able to serve beer and wine to our guests during their meals. So we don't really utilize that license as much as we thought we may had in the Bolton Bean space. We do use it for certain events or different things like that, but we know we will definitely be benefiting more from it with the restaurant space out back.
Okay. I had a couple of questions, but I want to see if other board members have some questions.
I guess where are you relative to the restaurant? Because that's something new that I'm hearing tonight.
So we are actually directly behind where the current cafe space is, and our kitchen is set up to kind of service both operations.
And have you done the appropriate applications to open at that restaurant?
Yes. Or we're in the midst of the ABCC part, but yes, for the business, yes.
Okay.
And I was just curious where the outdoor patio space is. Is that the patio space out front, or is there new patio space that's kind of tucked away?
Yeah,
There's-
so go ahead.
I'm sorry, guys. My camera was working and now it's not, so I apologize. But the new patio space is also directly behind where the coffee shop is located. So if you follow the driveway all the way around back, it's directly behind the Bean. It's a separate patio that will be fenced in according to the ABCC regulations, so that people can't walk off the premise with any beverages.
Okay. I was wondering if you've made any determinations about like your hours of when you would be serving alcohol.
So currently the license says, I believe, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And we would like to keep those hours and basically just expand the premise. The new restaurant will not be open in the morning. We're going to shoot for roughly 4 to, we'd like to say 11 if we decide to stay open that late.
I got a question. Can I ask a question?
Sure, but please just identify. We usually have people identify their name and their street address.
I don't know how to do that. I live right across the street from the Bolton Bean.
Yeah, you just say your name and your address. That's all.
I live across the street from the Bolton Bean. I live at 615 Main Street. And my name is Lorraine McGuire. And I'm a little concerned about the hours because what nights are they going to be open? One, and two, I'm concerned about the noise level and how it will affect neighbors. I'm a school bus driver, and I get up at 5 a.m. and I go to bed at 8. So those are my concerns, especially noise level, especially are they planning on doing events like weddings and things like that? It can get pretty noisy in the parking lot. So that's my concern.
All right. Thank you for sharing those. I don't know if either Travis or Randy Patterson want to respond to that at this point, but I also know we have at least one other person who'd like to make a comment.
Yeah.
Yep, go for it, Randy.
Yeah, I don't think you know, like I've stood out in the front lot when the Bolton Bean is, really going, and the cars are probably noisier than the people, but even still, I would hope I think it'll be even quieter being on the back of the building, and I don't think
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and as night falls, I don't think we're going to be having much outdoor seating past the nice evening dinner time hours. We don't have an outdoor bar outside or anything like that. We don't have any intentions for weddings, nor do we really have the ability to accommodate that big an event. But I don't think it would end up being any louder than the music playing at Yoga 626 might be playing through the windows or anything like that.
Okay.
We're also aiming to be more of an upscale establishment, so we're definitely not trying to be the local watering hole. So I also don't anticipate it being very rowdy or having any disturbances in that way.
Got it. Thank you.
Can I question?
Yeah, go ahead, Kate.
You intend to have any outdoor live music or anything that might be disruptive in that way, or any music outside at all?
I would assume that we might down the road, and if we need to get the correct things for that, we can go through that at the time. I don't want to limit ourselves and say otherwise, but the patio that we've sent in and that we're hoping to create isn't very large by any means, so it's not like that would really benefit the atmosphere as much as putting the music inside.
But we all know that when you start to drink, you get louder, laughing. And if you are including music outside, that's disruptive to the people that live in the area and have to listen to it. We already have a neighbor 2 houses down who plays his music so loud, it sounds like it's in my house, and I have to call the police because I have to get up, and you can't sleep to that kind of thing. It's just so too disruptive.
So the way that I'm inclined to handle these like valid concerns is that let's not assume that the problem is going to happen, but let's stay open to the possibility of addressing it if it does actually materialize in the future.
That would be, how would you address it?
Well, as the local licensing authority, we do have the ability to set limits on the hours that alcohol is served and things like that. So we could consider changing that in the future. I see. If I could, I'd just like to recognize this other person who'd like to make a comment, Sue Mitra.
Hey, so my name's Sue Mitra. I live at 642 Main Street. I'm right next door to the Bolton Bean. And yeah, I also had some concerns about noise level coming off the patio. And I guess, I don't want them to not have a patio space, but I also want to make sure that like when we're sitting in our backyard at night, we're not getting music coming in from next door, where, in the last year or so that we've been here, we've not had that. So just a little concerned about that. I also had a quick question. You said you were going to have a fence around the patio space. Do we know how tall of a fence we're talking about? Because that might, alleviate some of the noise concerns that I'm having.
Oh, the fence wouldn't be a noise barrier fence. It would be, more of just a retaining wall type of thing for people, and then an entryway coming through to the main doors of it. But we're not building a stage outside. There's really no place for anybody to even set up at this time, nor do we even really have that in our vision of kind of what we're trying to do here.
Are you considering it?
I'm sorry, we're going to have to, if you have a comment, you can raise your hand again. We need to maintain order in the public hearing.
Raise your hand.
So there's a button on Zoom that you can use to raise your hand.
I've never used Zoom before, so I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yep.
If you have a keyboard, if you hold Control and press Y, it will raise your hand and lower your hand.
And I just want to do a little bit of level setting for everybody. So the subject of tonight's hearing is sort of the narrow question of the liquor license. Noise, amplified music, that would be the subject of an entertainment license that they would have to come back to us for, and we could address some of those concerns in greater detail at that time. So tonight, I'd really like to just stay focused on the question of the liquor license.
To your question though, Lorraine, we don't we haven't, this is the first conversation we've had of music outside. That's really not in our consideration, but definitely something we'll keep in mind.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that, the noise level is going to be kept down, and I understand that you put it in the back, and I really appreciate that too. But I'm just really concerned with the noise level, especially with getting up early as I do. So
understood. I saw Mary Chumo had her hand up briefly. I wasn't sure whether she had a question about this, but
No.
No, okay.
No, thanks.
I did have 2 more questions for you, Randy and Travis, and they're around the and I don't know whether you've thought through this yet, but like who on staff would be serving alcohol? Because I know right now, like when I come into the Bean, there's a range of ages. So I don't know if you were planning to limit it to only staff that are 21 plus, and if not, whether you've considered getting folks tip certified or anything like that.
Yeah, if anybody that would be serving alcohol would be tip certified, across the board. That's how we've done it at the Bolton Bean, and that's how we'll continue to do it at the new restaurant. But any server that we would hire, we would have tip certified before their shift if they are going to be working there, because if, you know, we're able to move forward with this.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the select board?
No.
So I will just share with the other members of the select board, in light of what Mr. Patterson just said, since you're already ensuring that everybody is tip certified, I would actually like to make that officially a provision of the license, just so that we have that documented. I don't think it's in there right now. I think it's good practice. I'm delighted to hear that that's what you were planning to do anyway. So I don't know how Stan and Kate feel about just us adding that to the license itself.
Oh, we can certainly add it, but I think the state's going to require it anyway.
The state does require it.
Yeah.
I'll be doing it either way. I'd be happy to do that, but the state's going to require it for us.
ABCC is going to require that.
I had a different understanding, but either way, I guess we're doing belt and
Well,
suspenders here. So
happy to make it in the motion. That's fine.
great. All right. So, well, thank you both for kind of walking through all that with us. Excited to hear that you have some plans. And is there a motion that I could hear?
Well, we need the motion to, motion to close I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Great, thanks.
Second.
Roll call, Kate?
Yes.
Stan?
Next door, and should be a part of it.
And I'm a yes as well.
Okay, and I'll make a motion that we approve the application of Bolton Bean, 626 Main Street, for the amendment to the annual Section 12 pouring license for wine and malt to add 1,537 square feet of indoor space and 1,260 square feet of outdoor patio space.
Did you want to add in?
Oh, yes, and the requirement that all of the people serving alcohol be tip certified.
Second.
Great. Roll call, Kate?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Thanks again, gentlemen. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck.
Extra thank you to Jenny for helping us through the process.
Absolutely.
Look forward to you guys opening back there.
We do too, trust me.
Okay, great. So actually, next up in our agenda for those following at home, we were going to have a public hearing on the application of the Bolton Exchange Inc. at 544 Wattaquatic Hill Road for the transfer of their annual Section 12 pouring license. But because the requisite notices didn't make it into the papers quite on time, we are going to postpone that hearing to our next meeting. Jenny, jump in if I'm wrong, but I believe that's September. It's September 5th, Thursday, September.
Actually, you have not set the date officially, but presumably if you approve, or if you do set that as a meeting date, that is the date that we're hoping that the hearing will be held.
Great. So I apologize if any abutters or neighbors showed up for this hearing tonight, but we do have to postpone it. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay, great. All right, and now we're actually back on track a little bit early with our agenda. Sorry.
Brian, sorry to interrupt. Even though the hearing is not happening, the applicant was still hoping to attend for the approval of the temporary sign.
Thank you. Yes, thanks for that reminder. Okay, so there's a request for approval of a temporary coming soon sign. So who'd like to speak on that?
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Sherry Gold, a Clinton girl, so I'm pretty familiar with the site. I have with me Charles Mickle. He's new to Bolton, for about the last year, but he just moved into permanent housing yesterday, very happily with his family of young children. And he's going to speak to you.
Yeah, so we're very excited to be here and opening up at the Baba location, and hopefully we'll be back in to speak about the liquor transfer on the September 5th. But you know, for the sign, we're here today, and hopefully, I don't know if there's any other questions or if where it's not a hearing, but if you guys have any questions for us.
Well, maybe just could you just briefly explain for the public's benefit what is the sign you're requesting and why?
Well, it's just a temporary coming soon under new management sign that's going to go up over the Baba sign on both sides.
Okay. Any questions, Kate or Stan?
No, I'm fine.
Great.
We don't need anything from Mike Savageau.
Well, that's a great question. My assumption is that because it's going over the existing sign, it's definitely within the dimensional requirements, but Jenny or Marie?
Temporary signs don't need a building permit, so
Okay,
Mike wouldn't
cool.
need to be involved.
Okay.
I wondered if, Charlie, how do you pronounce your last name? I'm sorry.
Mickle.
Mickle. I'm wondering if Mr. Mickle just wants to talk about the restaurant that's coming in, because I've had a lot of questions since the posting went out. So this would be a good opportunity.
Sure, I'd love to. So my background, we had a restaurant in Chelmsford, 100-seat restaurant that we just recently sold. I have been in Bolton since October, and we're bringing with us an executive chef from 110 Grill. And so our menu is going to be a little bit of mix of what we had there, which is more American fare and you know, burgers, pizzas, and then a mix of that with the 110 Grill is kind of what we're looking for there. We've had a design team come in that's, you know, just doing some initial drawings, you know, kind of a little bit different look than what's in there right now. And that's kind of what we're looking for.
Right.
Cool.
Very excited.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in Bolton will be excited.
That's great. Okay, so is there a motion concerning the coming soon sign?
Make a motion, we approve the request for the temporary coming soon sign at 544 Wattaquack Hill Road.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Kate?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
I'm also a yes.
And I'm hoping to just say one more thing. Just because you had mentioned, because it's the same parameters as the sign, I just want to make clear that at the time that you want to have a permanent sign replace the existing sign, even if it is in the same parameters, it still will need a building permit and to come before the select board.
Okay, thank you.
So how soon is coming soon?
It'll be a while to just for the design team to finish up their things.
Yeah.
We're a few months away, I would say.
Gotcha. Well, we look forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Yes, it's been awesome.
All right. Well, have a good evening. And next up, we have a request from Shartner Farm for it's a one-day liquor request, but several one-day requests. So do we have somebody here from Shartner Farm?
Yeah. Let me get unmuted.
Oh, I can hear you.
Hi, this is Bob Shartner
Hi,
from
good evening.
Shartner Farm. Good.
How you doing, Bob?
We can hear you.
Good. Yeah, so we're looking to do something similar to what we did last year, just expand on the number of days. It was kind of a test last year to see how things would go. So we did pour on Saturdays, and we're looking to do Saturday and Sundays this season for September, October.
Apart from the addition of Sundays, any other changes?
No, it's Columbus Day. There's a Monday, Columbus Day. So that's the only day that's not a weekend.
Okay, that's Monday the 7th.
Yeah, October 14th.
Oh, sorry. 14th. Okay, yeah, I'm just looking at the list. There it is. Yep. Hey, I think it's great. Any questions from the select board?
Nope, I'm good.
No?
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the request from Robert Shartner of Shartner Farm for 17 individual one-day liquor licenses to pour beer and wine for on-premise consumption during the Saturdays and Sundays in October and September and Monday, Columbus Day. And it's
So
from,
moved.
just so everyone knows, it's from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Roll call. Kate,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. All right, looking forward to it. Fun way to
All
get
right.
the fall.
Good luck, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Always. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Okay. And now we have, I see Nikki McGackey in the wings. We have a request from Bolton Access Television. And I'll just turn it right over to you, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Any news or updates you want to share while you're here and you've got everybody's ear? Nice. Well, you look well rested. Any other questions from the select board?
Nope. No, we've been doing this dance for a long time, so.
Okay, who'd like to make the motion?
Make a motion that we approve the request from Bolton Access Television for the disbursement of $24,051.99 for franchise fee and cable access payment.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Kate,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
and I'm also yes. Thanks, Nikki.
Well, that's the fastest you've gotten 24 grand in a long time. Spend it wisely.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Okay, I know we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, but I see Mr. Hagelin appears to be on. So next up, we were going to have a DPW discussion concerning the easement for the Rotary project and discussion about transfer station stickers and bags. Hi, Randy, how are you?
How are
you? Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having me this evening. As the chairman mentioned, a couple items I'd like to discuss tonight. First is there's a roundabout project. Just to give you a very brief update, the engineering consultant Beta is in the process of finishing the specifications. The plans are essentially done. Its project is to be advertised imminently for bid. Once we got into the design, there was need arose for a small easement from the Tadmore property, Tadmore subdivision, Bruce Wheeler. It's about 833 square feet. Yes, thank you, Jenny. What this is an existing trail easement that was constructed concurrent with the subdivision. And what we're doing or hope to do is with the sidewalk for the roundabout is connect the sidewalk within the roundabout to the trail easement in two locations. And to do that, we need a small easement. And I said, if we're getting an easement, we might as well go the distance, the area between the two connections. So that's how it makes up the total of 833 square feet. When we embarked upon this project, the subdivision in their planning board approval, this this trail easement was to be turned over to the town, but it has not been done yet. Thus, we need the easement to proceed with the roundabout. So hopefully, the town's attorney and Mr. Wheeler's attorney have worked out the language, finalized the language of the easement, and they're working through a couple of other minor issues, and we hope to have that final signed easement before the board at the next meeting for your vote and endorsement. But I just wanted to give you a very, very quick update on this easement and the necessity of the easement.
So can I just pause there and make sure I understand? So I know in our agenda, we included the ability to vote, but since we don't have the final language, we can just consider and vote on it at our next meeting. Is that correct? After we
I would prefer that you'd have the opportunity to review the easement and so to defer the vote. We were hopeful that you would have the language for tonight, and we received a message, I think it was late yesterday afternoon or late evening, that the language, all of the T's weren't crossed and the I's dotted in the easement. So we just prefer to have it be complete.
Okay. Well, thank you for the heads up. Really helpful. Go ahead.
So I'll entertain any other questions if any other board members have any questions at this point. No? Okay. Second item I would like to discuss with the board this evening is I sent a memo to the board. It's been about 18 months, I guess, since we started the pay-as-you-throw color bag program, and realizing that residents had some stickers, the old stickers in their inventory, we allowed them to run out, and also for the residents to swap out the stickers for bags. We have seen a tremendous amount of swapped stickers for bags. A total of like 27,000 stickers were swapped in for bags. It's pretty substantial. So I think time has come. It's 18 months. We're seeing very few stickers now being turned in. Time has come to cease that practice, and that would be my recommendation, to cease that practice as soon as practical.
Okay, well, thank you for the memo. Really appreciated that. Any questions from the select board?
No, I would agree with Randy. It's been a very long time. I even advocated doing this some time ago. We've incurred a lot of expense relative to the swapping of stickers for bags. So I'm all in favor of discontinuing the transfer as of now. It's been enough time. People know that they should have done this a long time ago.
Kate?
Yeah, I also agree that it's time. I think it's fair to give 30 days notice or something like that, and maybe say as of the end of September, we're done.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask either in terms of that window, whether Randy or Marie or Jenny, being closer to the ground on what the process is actually like, what would a reasonable time frame be for sunsetting this program?
Do you want me to take that, Marie?
You can, or I can backstop you. You can backstop me.
I feel like I might be the closest to the ground level on this topic. The only caution that I would have is that I have been dissuading people from turning in their bags at the time that they've come to pick up their senior allotments. I've been giving people the message, hang on to those stickers. You have an allotment. This should take you through the year. And if you wind up running out before the year is over, you could bring those stickers in here or to the transfer station. So I would want enough time to at least get some messaging out that this is going to be happening, to give the people that I've told to hang on to their stickers a chance to come in and swap them.
Well, as I have said before, for the seniors who we're providing stickers or bags now at no cost, we should attempt to keep them whole to the point in time that whatever's remaining in the year. If a senior has gotten their allotment of bags for FY 2025 as of July 1st, I mean, if they have a pile of stickers that they have been holding on to for whatever reason, either that they aren't using them or they haven't had the trash, or we shouldn't be just swapping stickers for bags. If they haven't been using the stickers, then there's no reason to be giving them the bags, unless there's an issue that they're not going to be running out. So I hear your point, Jenny, and I think that the one of the sources of the high volume of the returns has been seniors who possibly have gotten their allotment and haven't used them. And the swapping of these things is actual the cost to the town. We want to keep them whole, but I can't see swapping hundreds and hundreds of stickers for bags for seniors who aren't going to be using them. I mean, but I want to make sure that they remain whole.
So I heard an initial suggestion of maybe end of September. Not sure from Jenny and Marie's perspective whether that seems practical, or whether we should look to end of October. But yeah, Marie, go ahead.
I understand Stan's concern because it is costing money. I think in terms of consistency and getting the message out, setting a prospective date, say the end of September. Come in, do your early voting, but implementation immediately, I think, would have bad customer service repercussions. And as Jenny gave the example, these are, in her case, seniors who come in and are being dissuaded from switching at that moment.
But if seniors have gotten their FY 25 allotment, then there may be some prorating. But if they have hundreds of stickers that they haven't used, I see no reason why we should be swapping those. They got them at no cost. And to your point, it's costing the town. I want to keep them whole. We're doing this as a benefit to them. But if someone has hundreds and hundreds of stickers and they've already gotten their 2025 allotment, I don't see a one-for-one swap as a practical thing on the part of the town.
Stan, are you comfortable with giving it to the end of September?
Actually, no, I think it should be sooner than that. But if we want to do the end of September, I'll support that.
Well, what if we did a maximum of fill in the blank, a maximum of X bags by the end of September, and then we'll just, so nobody's going to come in with 300 stickers. They can come in with 25, 30. I don't know what the number is, but we could have an upward limit so that we're not looking at, any sort of, bizarre number of individual stickers.
Right.
I think that would be fine.
What should that number be? I have no idea.
Can somebody remind me how many bags people get if they get the orange ones or the green ones under the senior program? I just don't remember them.
They get 40 orange bags or 80 green bags. And currently at the town hall, we have a limit of 4 sheets or 20 stickers that anyone could return at any one time. However, in the beginning, when people had large supplies of stickers, they would bring in 20 on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, 20 on Wednesday. So just think about whether you want that limit to be per day or per resident.
I would think it would be a limit per household of, I mean, I don't think people should have huge stockpiles at this point. I would support a maximum of 25 to get turned in between now and the end of September.
I would advocate sort of the hybrid of a maximum of 25 per household, because this sticker for bag swap has, as Randy said, been going on for like 14 months now, this open ability to swap. So folks must have known it was coming to an end.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing, sounds like we're converging on agreement of a 25 max per household swap up until the end of September, and then we're done.
Works for me.
I would put the caveat, if seniors have gotten their allotment of $100 worth of bags, that we look at that. As I said, I don't want to cut anyone off, but this needs to stop. And I think there's been a huge influx of the stickers that are being swapped were from seniors, regardless of whether they used them or they didn't use them. But we had I believe the last number I heard was $67,000 worth of bags were consumed in swapping. That's a big number.
So I'm totally with you, Stan, on your substantive concerns. At the same time, I think just from administrability standpoint, having just a clear, bright line across the board rule might be easier for town hall. So instead of having to get into individual determinations of, well, did this senior get their allotment, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, Jenny Marie can speak up if I'm overestimating the difficulty, but just a clean 25 max through the end of September for everybody feels like it might just be the simplest.
Yeah, and I also want to clarify that anecdotally, the cases I was speaking about were a handful of stickers here, a handful of stickers there, like 4 stickers that maybe they found under the seat of their car, or really leftovers, residuals. I haven't been seeing large stacks of stickers since the early days of converting.
We all get kind of on board with that?
I can do 25 bags by September 30th.
Okay.
No, 25 stickers, and it depends on whether they're green or orange. It should be a 1-for-1 based on that.
Right.
Okay.
Do we need a vote for it?
I think we probably should just do a motion for clarity's sake. So so let me try to put it into words. Somebody can make the motion. So entertain a motion to discontinue the practice of exchanging transfer station stickers for bags as of October 1st, meaning the last day you can do it is September 30th. And through September 30th, we will allow for a maximum of exchange of 25 stickers for whatever the equivalent bag exchange is.
Per
I will
household.
reluctantly second that motion.
Okay. Roll call. Kate?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. And thanks again to Randy and Marie and Jenny for your input and thoughts on that. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good evening, Randy.
Night, Randy.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot to say at the beginning of this meeting, we have a robust agenda, but we are on time. So actually we're a little ahead of time. We are up to, drum roll please, the town administrator report.
Yes. Thank you. And it's delightful to be here. And I want to say the town hall, Michelle exemplifies the town hall staff, as does Jenny. I mean, truly delightful, hardworking folk. The first item under the town administrator report was the MVP project update. Folks I know have heard about the MVP project, which was based on an earlier action grant all the way back to fiscal 21 and then supplemented by fiscal 22. Hats off to conservation agent Rebecca. We've secured a grant for $488,000, apportioned $464,000 in the current fiscal year 25, and then residual in fiscal 24. For folks who are just listening and wondering what this is a nature-based solutions trail, athletic field, walking pathway and a native edible plant garden, which will be located at the rear of the elementary school, middle school, right off Mechanic Street, sort of abutting the new development at 580 Main Street. And the initial outreach and public sessions will be happening in late September. So that's the update on MVP.
Great.
Again, kudos to Rebecca. Next item is the ARPA update and the ARPA projects update. If I can, may I share my screen? I don't have the, I could.
Yep, I can allow that. Give me 1 second. Okay.
All right. I do not have the share screen icon, but I can talk through stuff if you wish. So
let me ask you something, Marie. Is there
Sure.
something in our packet you'd like me to share? Because it looks like I can share my screen.
Well,
And I
it's
don't
a
want to
page
brag, but
called ARPA Project Summary. It's a PDF,
okay.
1 page.
Yeah, just give me, you can get started and I'll pull it up.
All right. As folks remember, the ARPA funds are federal funds, and the town of Bolton had received a total of $1.621 million. The board has been working assiduously to commit those funds. The total amount of funds that had been committed by the board, inclusive of interest, was $1.648 million. What I'm requesting tonight, following a meeting with the town accountant Ninotchka, as well as, thank you, as well as the DPW director Randy, is a reallocation of some of the funds. And if you look at the column with the proposed reallocation, you can see that for the first 4 projects, there are monies to reallocate. What this means is the initial estimates that were presented and then approved by the board turned out to be higher than necessary. And so those funds remain. For the DPW maintenance, the DPW roof was initially estimated at $45,000, requires an additional $20,181. For the subsequent, the fuel tank monitoring, as well as the perk testing, there's a credit, cost less than we had thought. For the other projects, the fire truck and the Florence School well pump upgrade, that full amount will be necessary. For the library heating system pump, as well as for health insurance, the library heat pump repairs, we initially thought that it was going to be $7,754. I realize that the things are down to the penny in Bolton. I'm trying to get into that mode. Sorry. So there's a request for an additional $6,600. And then for health insurance, so folks remember the town was a member of Minuteman Neshoba Health Group, which requested a payout as the group has dissolved of the incurred but not yet received claims. This amount was originally estimated at $84,000. Subsequently, they'd requested an additional $4,248.19. So my first ask this evening, and I'm happy to stop and talk and answer any questions, were to reallocate the funds as requested for the 3 projects, the DPW roof, the library heat pump repairs, as well as the Minuteman Neshoba claims payout or advanced claims payout.
So I want to get clear on something. In an email, I think you had said potentially we were not going to vote on reallocation, or am I confused about something?
I would request the reallocation. There's a question though in terms of uncommitted ARPA funds. So I would request initially this vote on the reallocation for the projects that were previously approved by the select board that require additional monies.
Got it. Thank you. All right, any questions from Stan or Kate?
Yeah, just so I understand, it looks like you're asking us to reallocate about $30,000. So that's going to leave us with another $20,000 that we have to allocate in the
That-
next few months. Is that
That
right?
ends up as a balance, yes,
Okay.
plus monies that were out there, yeah.
And just remind me, when do we have to commit and when do we have to spend the ARPA funds?
Funds need to be committed and under contract before the end of December 2024. Funds are required to be spent before the end of December 2026.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm comfortable with this proposal reallocation. Do we need a motion? Probably.
That would be helpful.
Great. So, is there a motion to approve the reallocations as reflected in this ARPA project summary spreadsheet?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Stan?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well.
Continuing on the excitement of ARPA, should the motion that just passed, then $51,108.56 remains to be committed before the end of December. And again, this is where I apologize for only getting this information out to the board late this afternoon. I had worked with Randy and Ninotchka, both of them doing infinitely more work than me, to go through the project amounts. Also note that the board's initial allocation was inclusive of the interest. The town accountant respectfully requests that we don't allocate the interest and that we let that interest amount sweep to free cash. So that's an FYI with regards. And so we can just stop there, and I'm happy to take any questions on that.
I think we can also stop screen sharing too. Great. Any questions?
So the 51K plus or minus is left to be allocated. Is that correct?
Correct. There are two paths that I would encourage the board to consider and ideally make a determination at their next meeting for how to allocate then the 51K. In my work and coming up to speed, had followed up and found that there had been an agreement made in May of 2024 that the town would be sharing in the cost of a replacement high efficiency boiler. There'd been a long story, and I'm just joining the history and story of the boilers right now. There had been 2 Lochnavar boilers that the town purchased with Green Communities funds. They were installed at the school that failed. Rob diligently had secured another boiler purchased by the town, installed at the school, failed. These boilers were all under warranty. And trying to follow up on that, Lochnavar is currently contesting the warranty claim. The school, though, as this was nearing the end of the school year and still having cold days, had secured through their procurement process an emergency procurement of getting a high efficiency Riello boiler, which is $133,000. Correspondence attests to the town administrator acknowledging that the town, because we absorb the capital costs of the school, would be paying that boiler. So that's one ask, and I can see that Ross is likewise on the call and able to speak to the need of the boiler. And I believe I've sent the select board correspondence attesting to what I've just relayed.
Actually, Marie, the fact that this discussion is not, I mean, I'm looking at the agenda. The discussion about the boilers is not explicitly outlined in this agenda.
It is not. It is a question of allocation, and again, my bad for only getting the ARPA summary out, so
No,
I encourage us not.
and the reason I'm asking is that are we going to be violating the open meeting law by discussing this, the fact that this is not on the agenda?
So it's a good point. We could call it out, and the information in the packets for the meeting of the 5th, which we now know is a go forward, could be disseminated if that works.
Yeah, it is an interesting question. I mean, sort of, I think it's implicit within the original agenda item of discussing recommendations for how to use those ARPA funds. But I do see the risk in getting too far into the discussion about the boiler specifically. So although I do feel bad for Mr. Mulcairn and Mr. Frieswick, I think we probably should, I think what we can do is if there's information you want to provide tonight, we can take the information in, but I would encourage the board not to go down lots of questions and deliberation at this point. Let's just hear some information.
I'm not so sure we should do that. Because with some of the information that I received late today, I have a lot of questions. And we'll be going down a slippery slope of violating the open meeting law.
Well, if you think you have questions that you'd want to be asking tonight, then I think we should pass over it.
I would hope we all have questions to be asking tonight.
No, I'm saying, because my proposal was we just hear some information and not ask questions tonight, but just get some initial information.
It's not on the agenda. It's not on the agenda. I'm very concerned about violating the open. I'm going to be very strict about this.
Okay.
If you want to continue, Brian, you go right ahead. You're the chairman.
I mean, what I don't want to do is spend time right now looking through the exact regs to know whether receiving information without deliberation is going to cross the line, which is what my instinct is that it doesn't, but I don't want to spend our time tonight doing that. So just in the interest of moving right along, I'd rather just have the full discussion posted as an agenda item for our next meeting.
I think that'd be wise.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right. Well, then on other updates, United Cultivation is good news. For United, they had received approval for the final license from the state. Mike Spengler had immediately called the state and wanted to set up the final inspection with product. That transpired yesterday on Wednesday, and they are planning an opening in mid-September. If folks have driven by, you've noticed that per their condition, the parking lot has been restriped. When I passed it a few times, folks seem to be in conformance of not parking in the yellow hash lines, and Mike is eager to open. So we look forward to that. For any questions on United Cultivation?
Nope.
All right.
Great.
For Alta Bolton, they had given us a proposed regulatory agreement and had stated that their changes had been minor, if any, that had been under review by an individual at Mark O'Connell, as our usual counsel, had to recuse himself. There are only two changes. One of them was de minimis. The second one presumes that the town would be required to give notice of default by the developer to any and all mortgagees. I'd wanted to discuss this with the town planner and had sent her information. She unfortunately has been out with an illness. My hope is that I get an answer as to whether this seems like an onerous and undue burden to accept. We passed the regulatory agreement approved back to Alta Boston, and they begin filing for their permits.
Okay.
I've also initiated a discussion, given the condition that the board had imposed on Alta, to secure the $50,000 that would be used for the MVP project. All of these things tie together. that would be used for the MVP project in advance of project completion. They initially rebuffed it, but were open to a different timeline. And I want to reopen that at the point where we send them the regulatory agreement. So that's the Alta Boston update.
Great,
Yeah. And for layout of policy changes, I'm going to turn this over to Kate, who is my colleague in policy changes.
So Marie and I have set up a phone call every other Wednesday to check in with each other and to kind of plan and move forward. What we've discussed doing, Marie was kind enough to put together not only all of the Bolton policies and procedures that she found, but she also put them into a format that I can work with. And the way that we've talked about structuring it is to do a very high level table of contents outline that would set up the different types of policies and procedures that we have, and fill in some that we might want the board to consider, and then bring that high level table of contents or outline to the board to see if it looks like we're going in the right direction. Are these the sorts of policies that we want? Are there other things that should be added in? Are there things that should be taken out? So before we start sitting down to really flesh out any detailed policies, we've got some direction from the board as to where to go with them. So far, I've started really working on the select board policies and procedures that we have. And Marie actually found some that seems like they were adopted in 2004 and 2006. They're a little bit outdated. They're also contradictory with one another. So kind of putting that together in a format that the board can review. It's going to take a little bit of work, but that's sort of the process that we're going through. And the idea would be to have a section for select board policies and procedures, have the board decide if it wants specific employee policies and procedures or any other, anything that's specific. But, we'll come hopefully within a few weeks with the outline for the board to look at and give more direction.
Great. Thank you both for taking this
Great.
on.
Super.
Yep.
Next item, Minuteman School Committee vacancy. The vacancy has been posted and duly noticed, and we're encouraging applicants to apply per the policy of the board. Individuals then would be coming to the board's likely second meeting in September. That date to be determined later this evening. Also wanted to highlight that Jen Marquis is doing outreach, and in next week's Independent, in the Clerk's Corner, she's mentioning that the advisory committee is looking for an additional member and how to apply. And then to notice the board that an elected school committee member has resigned, and that this would be, as an elected board, a dual appointment, likely also at that second select board meeting in September under that to be determined date. And to highlight, Backyard Bolton is happening this weekend. People should go to Backyard Bolton and then come by the town hall, which will be open from 9 to 5 for early voting for the Massachusetts primary.
Oh, you're stealing my public service announcement.
I'm sorry, just the folks are here. Folks are here. Sorry.
No, that's great. No. So I think actually after the point you just made about the Minuteman vacancy, we actually were moving right into select board business to start with public service announcements. So it was a perfect segue. Everybody can hear multiple times. Go to Backyard Bolton on Saturday. And I just wanted to note, so the primary election in person is Tuesday, September 3rd. Voting is from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the high school. In-person early voting starts next Saturday, the 24th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then early in-person voting will continue Monday, the 26th through Thursday, the 29th, from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. At least that's what's on the clerk's website. Any other public service announcements from Stan or Kate?
Nope.
Okay, next, future agenda items discussion. Stan, I'll start with you. Anything you would like to put on the agenda?
Not at the moment.
Kate?
No, I'm going to stick with the policies and procedures for a while.
Okay. I had something I wanted to put on, so I'll just repeat. I think let's be clear for the agenda. Next time, actually, honestly, if there are within the ARPA discussion, if there are specific topics that we'll be discussing, let's try to spell those out a little bit. And thank you for doing that. And then I wanted to place on the agenda for our next meeting that we have a kickoff discussion regarding goal setting for the town administrator. And I guess what I thought for purposes of that agenda item was that maybe Marie, you could come with just some initial thoughts about the process and timeline that we could discuss.
Good.
Okay. Now we're gonna review and ideally agree upon the select board meeting schedule through May 1st, 2025. Jenny, I don't know if you want to share your screen so everybody can see that, or we don't need to if people remember.
Sure, I could do that. Hang on one sec.
Does this look familiar to everybody?
It does.
Yep.
This looks fine to me. I did have one question though, Jenny, and I'm sure there's a reason, but so March 27th would be right at the end of the month when we're typically closing out the warrant. Then it looks like we would have a meeting basically a 1 week later, the very beginning of April. Is that just to basically get back onto an every other week cadence for April, or what's because normally we don't do like back-to-back weeks. Or maybe was it because of like April and February vacation?
I think Marie suggested it for for the budget
Okay.
process. Am I correct, Marie?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I'm good with all these dates. Stan and Kate, you as well?
I have
I
no
am.
idea what I'm doing next week, so these look.
Well, I assume that the December 19th meeting is actually a surprise birthday party for me.
Oh, okay. Duly noted.
It's a big one, so I have high expectations.
Awesome. All right. Is there a motion to approve this select board meeting schedule as being shown right here?
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call. Kate?
yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm also a yes. Thanks for sharing your screen, Jenny.
Welcome, and I'll get right on planning for Kate's 30th birthday.
That's right.
All right, and then there's next up, it's a vote to authorize the disposal of surplus supplies or capital. And there's some details here regarding dimensions of an Amco safe and a York safe. And I apologize, I didn't see any specific documentation in our packet, or maybe I overlooked it, but Marie, could you just briefly speak to this?
Certainly, we have 2 old safes in the basement of Town Hall that are not being used. For typical procurement surplus, you end up asking every department if they could use this in their operations. And if they cannot use this in their operations and the expected value I've looked at Gov Deals to try to see how much does a safe go for. It's all over the map, but the expected value is greater than 500. You seek the select board's authorization to surplus. In effect, we want to clear up some space and make some money.
I like doing both of those things.
Clearing
Alright.
up space is the most important to me.
It could be a great birthday present too.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
Well, before we do that, I mean, I'm very familiar with both of those because they've been in town hall like for forever. Is there any, other than it being a safe, is there any other value to them, either by their age or their model or their condition that would warrant some other disposal other than, surplus properties? Is there some other inherent value as to those two safes since we've had them like for forever?
I haven't done the research on the historical value. I confess I've just been looking at, what do municipal safes typically go for on a government surplus site. I know that there would be some scrap metal value, and Randy is still on the call, but that's even worse likely than, a purchaser on Gov Deals.
I know those safes have been in town hall since at least I've been doing stuff with the town, and that's over 25 years. So I don't know if we want to do a moment of research to see whether or not there's any,
Can do.
some collector might want this thing because it's so valuable or rare. I have no idea.
Can do. They've been there a long time, so this too might be appearing on your September 5th, but we'll do a little bit of research.
Great.
I hate to take the time, but can you just give me a thumbnail education on how surplus works? Because I've never dealt with this before.
Surplus is it's basically, it has its own rules. And if you think of it like procurement in reverse, so as the town has acquired things through municipal tax dollars, having gone through a procurement, when those things are no longer necessary, yet still have some residual value, the initial approach is to offer to other municipal departments for their own operations. So it can't be, oh, I'd love to have this at home, but can you, police chief, use this? Hearing no takers, then the request is to surplus, and what I've been used to is putting it on a site where they basically surplus goods of municipalities. It's also a great place to buy things of goods of municipalities. There's a cost to the purchaser that covers the cost of, using that site, and they do a check. Things are posted, buyers bid, one follows it, sort of like eBay, hoping to see how much money the town is going to get. If the buyer would remit payment to that vendor, this intermediary, at the point where it is picked up, that payment is remitted to the municipality, is wired to the municipality.
Thank you.
All right, so we will consider this again at a future agenda. Next up is to execute the warrant for the state primary election on September 3rd. And I think we had Jen Markey here to chat about that.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear me, but we need to execute the warrant tonight and have it posted by 8:27.
Sorry, Jen, I think there's two, maybe you need to mute one of your devices because there's a lot of echo.
Okay, I think it was Jenny and I who were had both microphones open. Sorry about that.
Got it. Perfect.
So we need to execute the warrant tonight for the state primary, and we need to have it posted by 8/27 in order to be in compliance. So that should be included in your packet with all offices listed on the ballot.
Great, thank you. Entertain a motion to execute the warrant for the 2024 state primary.
On September 3rd, 2024, so moved.
Second,
All in favor, roll call. Kate?
yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes.
So we do need that signed, Brian, in order to post on 8/27. So just a note for the board there.
So we have to come in tomorrow.
Kind of.
Let me just, Jenny Jacobson, can you just do us a favor and text anybody if it's not signed appropriately?
Sure, and it's already in the folder to be signed. But yes, I will remind anyone on Monday if you haven't come in over the weekend.
Thank you.
Was it in the packet today?
It was in the packet.
Oh,
Was it in the yellow folder? It was
Yeah,
in the yellow folder.
Then I signed it. I just sign stuff, they tell me to sign it, I sign it, with that.
Okay, now we've got execute the agreement between the town of Bolton and Bolton Access Television Corporation. I know you included that in our packets. I think there were a couple of minor edits to it. Anything Marie, you want to highlight in that, or?
Nothing really had changed. The edits were the most minor, and the approval is basically running in tandem with the cable provider's agreement that had been agreed to by the board in June. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion regarding this agreement?
Make a motion, we execute the agreement between the town of Bolton and Bolton Access Television Corporation, designating Bolton Access TV, the public education and government access provider through July 9th, 2027.
Second,
Okay, roll call. Kate?
yes.
Sam?
Yes.
And I'm yes also. All right. Next is to consider issuing an amended all alcoholic beverages license to the International Beverages Company, LLC, at 159 Ballville Road with Thomas A. Barnard named as manager. I saw a document in our packet regarding this. Marie, any just quick highlights or recaps?
Just a change of manager required for the filing with ABCC, and this, given that the board had already approved the license and there are no changes in what's happening for that type of license, it's basically a straightforward process.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we issue the amended all alcohol beverage licenses to the International Beverages Company with Thomas A. Barnard named as manager.
Second,
Okay, roll call. Kate?
yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And I'm also yes.
And I just want to mention on the licenses, both on this one and on the one-day liquor licenses for Shartner, I couldn't generate them until this approval took place, so I'll be printing them tomorrow. So they will be in the packet over the weekend. I apologize to those of you who came in to do some early signing.
No problem.
No problem. Okay, and now a vote to authorize the town administrator as signatory for documents for the stormwater asset management plan. Marie, do you want to just give a quick overview of this?
Great. Don Lowe had been the authorized signatory for all documents, as well and contractual for the stormwater asset management, as well as funding disbursement. They require a vote of the board to authorize someone new.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second,
Roll call. Kate?
yes.
Stan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. Okay, since I know that you both have been into town hall already to see the bills and payroll warrants, I'm just going to go ahead and make a motion to approve bills slash payroll warrants W24-26, W24-26A, W24-27, W24-28, W25-0, W25-1, W25-1A, W25-2, W25-2A, gosh, W25-3, W25- oh, and W25-3A.
That one's in their duplicate. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
So moved.
Okay.
Second,
Roll call, Kate,
yes.
Dan,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. And then we do need to appoint our town administrator, Marie Sobalvarro, as the chief procurement officer. Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we appoint Marie Sobalvarro as Chief Procurement Officer.
Second,
Actually, this is interesting. Marie, do we need an effective date of anything in particular? Should we make it effective immediately? Do we need to?
Effective immediately would be fine. In effect, you need a chief procurement officer to issue requests for qualifications, because they make the determination that, or request for proposals that this is more advantageous. But beyond that, and I know Jenny has pursued and is about to get the certificate from the IG's office. It's sort of a tacit thing. Effective immediately would be fine.
Okay.
Effective, I'll amend my effective immediately.
second,
Okay. Roll call, Kate.
yes.
Stan.
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. All right.
Mr. Chairman, if I might for a moment, going back to future agenda items discussion. With regard to appointing Marie as Chief Procurement Officer, one thing I would like to discuss at perhaps the next meeting is I believe that there is a dollar amount cutoff for contract sign. I think something, it might be $5,000 or more, where Marie needs to be involved, and something less than that, she does not. I would argue that as our chief procurement officer, that every single contract that the town of Bolton signs, given whether it's, Park and Rec or Historical Commission or whatever, should also be reviewed and signed by our chief procurement officer. My reasoning is that we have groups entering into contracts that have both financial and potential contractual liability issues, and there should be a review of that for every contract that we sign. And I'd like to have that as a future agenda item.
Okay, thanks for mentioning that, Stan. I guess my initial reaction to that is it does sound like it may touch on an existing policy potentially, and so and I don't know whether it does, but regardless of whether it does or doesn't, sounds like we may want to front load consideration of that anyway. So I guess the question for Marie and Kate is, would you be comfortable if we added to the next agenda item at least a discussion of what the current practice is and recommendations for any change to it?
I would be comfortable, and I'm also going to broach with the department heads the required practice internally is that the town accountant requires a copy of every contract, else how can she authorize payment?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You got that, Jenny, for a future agenda item? Great, thank you. So we just have a couple more things. We've got some minutes to approve and then a brief executive session.
Brief.
If I may, also, Jen Marquis had asked if we could discuss briefly the warrant before she gets off for the primary, just briefly. I know we covered that, but she would like to just go back and add a little more information.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted to make folks aware that due to events at the school as well as the construction. The September 3rd state primary is going to be held in the upper gym. Normally we're in the auditorium. We're going to be in the upper gym for this election and this election only. So folks will all park in the same parking lot. They will enter through the same doors, but instead of turning right into the auditorium, they will turn left into the upper gym. So we've been working with the school, with Ross and with Rob to prepare the space, and working obviously with our poll workers as well. If folks prefer, they can vote early. Come see us on Saturday. We'll be here all day. And then as well during the week or also by mail. So I just wanted to make sure we got that message out there.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jen.
Anybody have any
You have
questions?
mints? Do you have the mints?
We do have the mints.
All right.
We have the mints.
Okay, awesome.
thank you.
So, thank you, Jen. So turning to the minutes, Jenny, I believe we have 3 sets of regular session minutes. So I know you have a practice of being able to share your screen. We've got May 9th, June 6th, and July 11th. Okay, so these are the minutes of May 9th with some changes. Oh, wait, no, not yet. And Jenny, you're muted in case you need to say anything, but maybe you don't. Okay, looks like there's a minor change at the beginning. Keep going. Got it. Okay. All right, with these changes, is there a motion to approve the May 9th minutes?
So moved.
And I'll second. Roll call, Stan,
Yes.
Kate,
Abstain.
and I'm a yes. All right, June 6th minutes you sent out, and there were no changes unless anything has come in late breaking. Is that right, Jenny?
You're on mute, Jenny.
Yep, I was just looking for my button. I have too many windows open. That is correct. No changes on the June 6th.
Okay, so I'll hold off and let's review the 11th and we can maybe approve these as one set. Okay, so 11th has a couple changes. So, July 11th. Okay. All right, so is there a motion to approve the minutes of June 6, 2024 and July 11th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Kate,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. Okay, so I think at this point we have completed the business for our regular session, and now I would entertain a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, for Purpose 3, to conduct strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation with the Teamsters Union, Local Number 170, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, which I so declare, and to approve minutes as needed. Is there?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and roll call. Kate,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. And just to confirm, Jenny, what we'll do after the end of the executive session is we'll close, we'll come back into open session to adjourn for the night, right? Okay.